Hey, it's Cam. Welcome back. Mad Redneck Scientist channel. So for those of my personal friends and close friends know, I operate my own business, at least the one I did back in Kansas. I purchased electronic waste, processed the waste down to recyclable form, and then it would get shipped off to recyclers across the United States. And I am working on getting my business set up here in Virginia. Proven to be a little bit more difficult and a little bit more tricky, a lot more regulations, and I'm also striving for a 90% recyclable rate. So I don't want to get too in-depth on my business. That's not what this is about. This channel is about random things that I build, random things that I work on, but you need to have a little bit of understanding of the business on why I built this next project. I want to state, do not attempt to build something like this yourself. It is extremely dangerous, and this thing has the potential to severely injure an individual if you are not careful. And don't use common sense, which I know is not very common these days, but this thing is extremely dangerous. I'm not going to show you how I built it. I'm not going to show you the electronics behind it. I'm going to leave some key aspects out of it, just for the purpose of hopefully keeping someone who watches this from attempting to build something like this themselves. Well, back to the reason behind this particular item was built. With my electronic waste business, I try to strive for a 90% recyclable rate, which I already stated. But what that means is that if you take a desktop computer, cell phone, tablet, laptop, I mean really anything. I've gotten everything from lithium-ion batteries to servers already, and it's very difficult to reach a 90% recyclable rate. One of the biggest problems that anyone's going to run into is the plastic from electronics. There are numerous plastic buyers across the United States, across North America, and hundreds and hundreds of buyers across the world. The problem is nobody wants to buy plastic from electronics because the plastics usually have a very unique plastic blend. Not only that, but if you think about it, a laptop, laptops I absolutely hate to dismantle. They take way too long, and they are probably one of the biggest waste generators of my business. The reason being is a lot of the plastic that comes from laptops have the brass nuts that are molded into the plastic. They have aluminum, metal, stainless, magnesium, all kinds of stuff that is mounted to plastic in forms of other than hardware. So what I mean by that is you have other ways of mounting plastic to other materials, and it is extremely difficult to get them off, whether it's some type of adhesive, whether they're molded into each other. I mean, there's numerous different types of attachment systems. So that's why people don't like to buy plastic from electronics. Well, I sort all my plastics, and this is what I've gotten so far. So this box right here, I know it's really hard to see on the video, and I apologize, but this box is all bits of plastic that have been ground up, that have been shredded, and this is all ABS plastic. ABS is just another form of plastic. There's seven general categories of plastic, but each one of those categories could have a subcategory depending on the materials and the makeup of the plastic. So when you generate a bunch of plastic, it takes up a lot of room. It's not easily stackable. You can't store it well. You either have to shred it, you have to bale it, you have to compact it to save room. If I haven't shredded any plastic that I've generated, I'd have an entire pallet of just mixed plastics that I can't do anything with. This box alone, as you can see, it's not a very big box. I don't know, maybe 8 inches tall, 14 by 14 box. This box is completely full with shredded ABS plastic. Most buyers will not buy this because there's not enough material here, besides the fact. So what I'm going to show you is how I shredded plastic. Like I said, please don't try to build something like this. It's extremely dangerous, and it is, I mean, you can severely get hurt with something like this. So what I built here is my own plastic shredder. This is about the 6th rendition of this piece of equipment. And like I said, I'm not going to show you the electronics. But as you can see down here, it has rotating teeth. And when you drop a piece of plastic down in here, it gets caught between these teeth and the stationary teeth in the back. And it breaks the plastic up, grinds it up, drops it down into a chute, and then it just falls out here into whatever container, 5-gallon bucket, box, whatever. I have gone through all kinds of equipment. I have broken numerous pieces of equipment. I've bent, I've shattered. This thing has been a nightmare to get it to the point where it is. And I believe this is the 6th rendition, 7th rendition of this piece of equipment. And I will show you some of the gearing and some of the sprockets and drives. And just kind of give you a basic mechanical overview, and that's going to be about the extent of this project. So what I have back here is a drive motor. This motor is what they consider a low voltage 3-phase motor. This motor runs 220 volts. It's a 2 horsepower motor, and it runs on 3-phase power. I don't have 3-phase at my house, which is where I'm operating out of at this time. So, with that being said, it's one of the reasons I'm not showing the electronics, because of the fact that there's some equipment in there that if you don't have, you can't run a 3-phase motor. Well, this just runs a sprocket. I don't remember the I don't remember the ratios off the top of my head. So you have the motor that runs into your first sprocket. First sprocket drives a small one, large one, small, larger. This is a number 40 roller chain, and I don't want to get too far into the, I guess, I don't know if you want to say, but because a motor, when it runs at high speed, there's less tension and less force on a chain when it runs at higher RPMs than if it does at a lower RPMs. Every time you reduce or use some form of gear reduction, chain reduction, every time you reduce it, you can do the math, figure out what your actual horsepower rating is and what kind of torque you're putting on things. Well, my first rendition, I was running all -40 or number 40 roller chains. It was a much smaller version of this, and I was snapping chains just about every time I used it. So this is a number 40 roller, and this is a number 40 roller chain. But as you can see, from this point to this chain is a pretty significant difference. This chain is actually what's tied into the shaft that runs the teeth. This is a number 60 heavy duty roller chain. I've already broken this chain once, if that gives you any idea of the capabilities of a 2 horsepower motor that is reduced enough times. As you can see, as the motor spins, it rotates your output sprocket, runs into your larger sprocket. It drives your secondary, which is reduced at this point, up to a larger sprocket, and then it runs into the Dash 60 drive chain for the actual shredder shaft, is what I've been calling it. Like I said, this thing has been a nightmare to get to the point where it's at now. I think I have it to the point where I can actually operate it relatively easily. Not sure what else to show you on this. Probably show you some operation. I got another project coming up that I'm going to be working on. Just waiting on some parts to get delivered, hopefully today, and I'm going to start working on another project, and I'm hoping to be a little bit more in depth into that project. Well, I appreciate you guys checking out my channel. I appreciate you guys sticking with me for almost 12 minutes at this point of my babbling. But hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, comment, anything like that, and I do my best to interact with anybody. Feel free to email me with any questions, and I'll do my best to get back with you as soon as I can. So stay tuned, and there should be some more videos coming up soon.